Hello and welcome, Aquarius, to your July messages. So keep in mind these are collective in general. Receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Never give your power away to a reading. Remember, you're a conscious creator and you shift and change your timeline with your free will choice. Okay, Aquarius. So the two kind of characteristics, or could be two different characters or people in your life that are significant in January. We have the engineer, architect of solutions, engineering practice, a problem solver, complex systems and technology. And we have painter, someone who, is quite creative, someone who is focused on, more of the sensual experience, the sensual world. Someone who could be quite dynamic as well. These two in some ways are alike, but in some ways very opposite energies. Keep in mind, Aquarius, these could also be your energies, right? If you are an engineer or maybe you work in like a very structured way, perhaps you like to let your creativity flow when you get home and you like to paint or create in some artistic way, right? Or these could be two different people that are in your experience, but either way, there's problem solving happening here and there's creating, okay? Creating solutions, problem solving, creating solutions happening in your experience. When we get into, and all of these came out, locations that are significant or maybe significant for you in January. We have library, book collection, reading nooks, and research resources. Okay, so some of you are definitely seeking either an escape or you're seeking solutions, you're seeking answers, you're seeking knowledge at this time. We have the gym as well, strengthening endurance. We have an urban landscape. And we have home, comfort, familiarity, security, belonging, personal space. So what I'm kind of sensing here very much is like gym, fitness, health, and wellness routines, very important for you. Learning, growing, evolving, with that library energy, education, also very important for you. You're liking to expand here. And the other message, here is about travel. Some of you have been spending a lot of time at home, and there would be opportunities to travel in, I keep saying July, in January. Or some of you are feeling like more so being homebodies or just kind of finding the balance, kind of between it all. But it feels like you're trying to feed and nurture, all these different sides of yourself and find that beautiful balance. And again, you're very much focused on your health and wellness and living like your healthiest, best life here. With this urban landscape energy, this could just be, always be aware of your surroundings, right? And stay safe, right? That's an important message here. But it could just be that also that you live like in an urban area. And yeah, it looks like you're kind of really starting out the calendar new year on a strong note. When we get into your intentions or perhaps, a mantra for yourself, we have I am centered and focused and I feel more secure each day. And you have I am a capable person and I can handle anything that comes my way. Okay. So yeah, you're very, very very much strengthening yourself and strong in your practices. Some of you are learning to let go. There's a lot of transformation happening in your experience with those butterflies. Many of you also very much connecting in with spirit. Strong butterfly energy here, Aquarius. For your soul message, we have focus. Okay, and you see there's that yellow butterfly. It could be focusing on the changes that you're creating. It could be focusing on or not allowing yourself to get distracted by all the chaos happening right now in the world, focusing on what you want to create, focusing where your power is, focusing in ways where you can make a difference. And you also have a specific vision, or again, there's that sense of that yellow butterfly, which is about joy, right? And inspiration and happiness. And so that's not something you're letting slip by you, even if you're dealing with a lot of duality of life right now and you're focused on a voyage. Okay, you're focused on expansion. It could be physical travel, going and relocating to a new place. It could be a venture. It could be a cruise. It could be planning some sort of trip here, traveling for work opportunities. You could be focusing and looking into and researching where's the next place you want to move to. Maybe, if you have a career where you work remote and, it's requiring you to travel now, maybe you have different options and you're researching and looking into those. But look at the contrast of the shadow and the light. So you're definitely finding the balance, and I feel you're finding acceptance with the shadow. as well as the light here, right? But you are staying focused on, your personal power here. When it comes to your higher vibrational living, we have the waters of the planet, bless, rain, rivers, and oceans. So water can be very helpful for you. Again, we've got that water energy here, right? Some of you also are focusing on traveling into the unknown, right? You're traveling maybe through different energetic realms, or going to new locations, or just the next level or next chapter in your life is something that's going to be very different than what you have experienced before, right? So with the water energy, water is cleansing, it's emotionally balancing, it's a conduit for spirit, it can be very healing, right? And so making sure when you're hydrating, maybe some of you spending some time in the water sports, connecting in with the water, appreciating it. Maybe some of you like to, help to clean up the waters of the planet. But sometimes even just enjoying and being respectful and expressing that appreciation to the water. Some of you might be healers, you might be blessing the water, right? You might be called to do that at this time, or be called to the ocean, or called somewhere, that's quite expansive, but brings you peace, right? Or brings you joy here. It just feels like it's a beautiful relationship, you and like a specific body of water. That, or you just feel more connected with water at this time, right? But you see in this card, there's a dolphin, there's somebody surfing here, there's the sun shining, there's even like bubbles, there's definitely a lot of playfulness here. So even if you are moving through some heaviness or some shadow, you're balancing that out with play and joy and the lightness as well. When we get into the past life energy that is helpful for you for this time in January, we have optimism and hope. Okay, with this beautiful archangel. And again, there's the water energy and it's getting calmer. And you see there's a boat out there as well. So it does feel like you're almost through some sort of storm. Some of you maybe even going through it here. But connecting in with, angel energy, might be something that you're called to do, you're helpful with. You already know how to do, or you just feel more that angelic love and presence around you. But the density is starting to lift. You're starting to feel more optimism. You're starting to feel more hope in your experience. You're starting to feel more expansion. That's kind of what's coming through here. When we get to your timeline, we have bird on a wire. We have, someone who's gossipy, or someone who, is maybe a little bit petty, or you're around these different energies at this time, which could also be why you're feel like you're going through it, if you're around people that are petty or kind of difficult to deal with. And you're focused on escaping that. You're focused on, what's next for you, not sitting in the present moment and putting all your time and attention into what you kind of don't want to experience. You're focusing on, you're there, but you're also focusing forward, essentially. I don't mean you're disassociating, but you are focusing forward and not staying stuck where you are. Okay. You could also be making some changes or making some decisions that has people talking, but just, be true to yourself here. People project so much onto us. And once we realize that, it's it's much easier to not take things personally. This could also be, I'm hearing loose lips sink ships. So beware of who you share personal information with, right? There could be some people that are not as trustworthy, or some people that share, it says blabbermouth or gossip, people that like to do that for their own entertainment or their own pettiness, or, whatever. So just be careful. In that way, be very discerning with who you share personal information with, or maybe the direction you're moving in, right? Because that might be something that, others are not maybe going to understand, but that's okay. It's your timeline, it's your life. And you just kind of want to make it smooth for you, right? You don't want to necessarily have to sit there and explain to people or deal with their opinions. You kind of just want to do your thing. I don't sense these are people that are really supportive of you or aligned with you, or you really want to listen to their wisdom. I don't feel like they're on your path. But of course, use your discernment, and it's good to hear what people have to say when they give feedback, when they're coming from a place of love or coming from the right place, right? Or doing their best to, at least. Then, you can kind of take what resonates, take what's helpful. But this could just be people that are gossipy, and you're making changes, you're evolving, you're growing, you're expanding, maybe out of a social circle or something like that. And so it's got people talking. You also have the cross energy, destiny, spirituality, divine guidance. There is emotional loss or sorrow, conviction, duty, fate. So some of you, it's like you are this, if you see this card coming up here, this is something that you're already currently experiencing. It's on your timeline. Some of you could be doing some grieving work or something like that. Make sure you've got all that love and support. But it's like your spiritual belief, no matter what it is, it feels like is supporting you through this time, is assisting you, your spiritual practices, connecting in with that energy. Or just even if it's not that, it's just some challenges that you may be moving through. Again, it could be the opinion of others or other people that are, kind of making things a little more difficult. But really honor yourself and allow yourself to receive love, receive support, and be very gentle, with yourself at this time if you're navigating challenges, and go to people that like support you and love you unconditionally and care about you and don't sit there and judge you, right? That's something that's really important here. Some of you too, you could be like leaving a church or leaving a specific area or something, and that's what has people talking, but you're being true to yourself. And sure enough, you have golden ticket, big break, turning point, once in a lifetime success, something special, magical, an extraordinary event, major opportunity, and luck. Okay, this is actually the card that made me purchase this deck because it kept coming up on the ads. And so there's a beautiful change that's shifting and happening here for you in January, Aquarius, with this golden ticket energy. It's something that you've been manifesting, working towards, aligning with, and it's going to be coming in here. So some of you are kind of breaking away from something that is not healthy for you, or there's like a natural ending of a chapter in your life, and you're ready to kind of move forward on this voyage. You're ready to focus more so on what's best for you here. Because I feel like you've been very quiet in January. You've probably been just very focused on your goals and focused on your healing and focused on what you've been moving through. But like I said, open up to that love and support that is genuine, because you deserve it, right? When we get into love and relationships, we have some interesting energy here. So some of you can be dealing with a Capricorn because we have the Devil card. But we have, it is safe for you to love. Open up your heart and give and receive the highest energy of all. So that's to do with abundance as well, giving and receiving. But with this Devil energy, what I'm sensing is, especially if you are, you're already in a relationship, but there could be some wounds that are coming up, or there could be some things from the past to kind of address, be conscious or aware of here, right? To be confident in your intuition, in your decisions. Again, it just feels like this is something that you are healing and you're moving through at this time. Again, this is for those of you that are coupled up. For some of you, it could be like you're getting to another level of like deeper emotional intimacy with a partner, and perhaps there are some wounds coming up from the past, and that can be sometimes, triggering. And so you're kind of working through that, I feel like, slowly, and communicating with your partner and working on things. And again, this is if you're in a healthy relationship, a healthy, grounded relationship. But yes, receiving love and support if you have in the past, dealt with trauma or dealt with, a lot of ugliness in people, especially in love and relationships. It's not, as comfortable to the nervous system. But again, I feel like you're doing this healing work. You're learning how to connect with your body and trust yourself, and open up your heart. And, you could be somebody who overgives, and maybe this is a message in your relationship to balance that out here, so that there is giving and there is receiving energy here, that you're both, needing some sort of balance. But yeah, just be very curious about what is showing up for you at this time in your relationship, because there's some things to unpack. When it comes to those of you that are single, we have trust. The situation involves calling you for you to have faith, okay? And then we have the Hierophant. So there are changes happening here. They might be behind the scenes at this time, right? There might not be somebody in the picture. So maybe some of you are like, oh, I'm never going to meet my person, or I'm just going to give up on this and, just be single, for the rest of my life, or something like that, right? That's usually when you meet somebody. It's pretty funny. But so the Hierophant energy that's coming through is like a spiritual leader, is a spiritual path, could have to do a soul contract, something like that. There's just basically this message of not giving up, like, yes, you can surrender if you've been putting a lot of emphasis and heaviness on it, because of course that's going to slow down the manifestation. Just focus on yourself, focus on developing trust with your intuition, trust with your body and your relationship with yourself, and then maybe with spirit, right? But it does feel like there will be, possibly this year partner coming in that will be a higher level partner for you. So, some of you might have trust issues, and I don't blame you. Like, if you've been through a lot, of course. So you could be focusing on healing that right now and just giving yourself that unconditional love, so that when that person shows up, they're going to see how you treat yourself, and they're going to not only match that, but do better, right? They're going to love you in a way that's going to make you love yourself even more. But there are beautiful changes that are happening here, and it does feel like, a storm that you've been moving through is just about cleared or starting to clear. When it comes to your blessings, we have reunions. Okay, so some of you could be getting together. That could be that voyage energy. Could be traveling to connect with friends, reconnect with family, reconnect with people that are important for you to connect with. And then you also have prosperity. So you're unlocking prosperity. There's the bridge of prosperity. So again, there is a little bit of an adventure, a little bit of travel, and this change that's happening for you to unlock this prosperous path. And then you have the heaven energy coming through. So you have a loved one on the other side that's bringing you blessings, bringing you guidance, bringing you validation, reassurance. Some of you, you're here to create your heaven on earth sort of experience, and that's what you're focused on. You have this vision, this goal, the power's in your hands, that divine energy moves through you, and, you're kind of getting to it this year. You definitely feel very focused, Aquarius. So those are beautiful blessings to come through, unlocking your path of prosperity, and receiving all this love and support from the divine, and just having this confidence in yourself and your own gifts and your own abilities. So this is wonderful. Remember to receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Never give your power to a reading or outcome. Remember, you're a conscious creator, right? And be very gentle. And I would also say, Aquarius, be so proud of yourself. You have been through it. Oh, speaking of, I almost forgot. You have your self-love messages coming through. We have You Are a Spiritual Warrior. We have I Am So Proud of You. I wrote this deck. So some of you watching this, you know me personally. And even if you don't, this is a message of me saying I'm proud of you. Be very proud of yourself and how you have navigated and how you've honored yourself and your values and just what you've created here. And we also have Connect with Animals. Animals or nature being very supportive of you at this time, with developing trust or with healing or just having that beautiful, unconditional, loving companionship here. I'm seeing a cat for someone. Someone might be adopting a cat soon or just spending time with a cat. Maybe it's a friend's cat or family member's cat, but that's going to be healing, gentle experience for you and just very comforting. I think that's really important for you at this time as you kind of start to launch on your own journey here, Aquarius. So thank you so much. Take the best care of yourself, and I will see you soon.